and this will be Steve Howe, Wednesday, February 8th, 2018, on board the Cruise to the Edge. Today is February 7th, 2018, Wednesday, and it's about 12, it'll be around 12:05.
All right.
Hey, Steve.
So that just got delayed because the video didn't work at first, right? But
Yeah.
A couple of times you cut out.
Yeah, they were having some technical problems.
Take your choice.
Oh,
Choose your poison.
all right.
Oh yeah, what about my phone? Where's that? Sometimes I forget I've got a mobile phone and it just sits in my bag for hours and then I look at it and go, oh, I got a message.
Oh, good.
No, I haven't actually at the moment, but
I'm not getting
if you want
used
to
to this.
pin it on me, okay, let me take this off.
If I may clip it on anywhere.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do that.
Just for great audio.
Okay, it's like this. It could be here.
Yeah,
Anywhere is good. So you know how those are there.
Is that all right?
Really,
That's
perfect.
Great. Thanks, Steve.
That will do it. Make sure this is good to go.
All right.
So
Run some double covers.
using cameras as a recording device. It's not the most efficient way. It creates massive files because they're video files.
Yeah.
So it's making a video, but you know, I get the lens cap on. It's just, but
it's as
takes
good
up
as you can
takes
get.
up space.
Yeah.
Got to get a more efficient way.
What do you think about the UK set list?
Oh, good.
We haven't agreed it, but I put that forward as an idea. Yeah,
Wow.
I knew you'd say that.
Oh!
But it's
Speechless.
censorship. I mean, if we can learn Brother of Mine,
Yes!
it's going to be great. But, you know, we all have to review it and then, you know, decide. I think it would be a winner.
Wow.
It's like a set in 3 stages. Well, I mean, the last is the encore, obviously. But,
With parallels. It's a great opener. That's what 77 opened with.
right.
Over people. Sweet Dreams. Nice. Tony, or Tony just for the encores?
Fun?
Would Tony be there, or Tony just for the encores?
Just for the encores, really.
Okay. Yeah, it's hard to.
Yeah,
Come
it's
on and off.
Come and off.
The big moment.
Although
yeah.
it's like a 3-0. All the people, Sweet Dreams for perpetual.
It's
almost-
tough, isn't it? It is kind
It's an
of tough.
opportunity. It's just a thought. Onward is always great.
Yeah.
Clap mood. Alternating clap mood, like every other night.
Well, either alternate or do one of alternate is one idea, or we'll see how much time we've got. Whether
I always loved 72 embedding mood inside of clap.
inside clap.
Yeah.
Wondrous. Brother of Mine is. We've always wanted to hear this band do Brother of Mine. It makes great sense.
It is. But the 6-minute version on my anthology is the one we're looking at. And then Tales Like We Do It Anyway, and then the encores.
That's a great set list, Steve. I mean, just reaction.
Yeah, I thought the Brother of Mine would kick in. I mean, but it's so new to us, as yes, we've never played that song, you know, period. But I think we can carry it. I mean, Jeff wrote part of it, so he's very keen to let me come forward a little bit.
So we're talking about 50.
50.
And it's from our perspective, it's a seems like a pivotal point to recognize what's come before and celebrate, you know, what an achievement that is. But also, it's the beginning. It's the beginning of the next 50. Well, the next chapter to be written. Yeah. I mean, how are you feeling about? You know, you're generally a very introspective. You know.
Right. What about the feature?
Well, about the whole moment in time.
What does 50 mean? Is it it's a number? We like round numbers, right?
Yeah.
Is it more than that?
Well, I tend to play down. In one way, I play down anniversaries because you can build them up and they're kind of that, and then how much they mean. But that's more about how much they mean to the people it's meaningful to. You know, and other people it's not very meaningful. You know. And it's interesting just how many bands are 50 years this time. You know, I had a conversation last night where a few other bands were like, well, we're 50, and but 50. Obviously, 68 was a very creative time when a lot of bands got together, and you know, I just left Tomorrow, which for me was the first highly creative band, you know, that I'd ever been in. So then my songwriting seemed important. And then when Yes came along, I would say, that's awful saying, I knew, but I sensed that, wow, this is a great opportunity, you know. When I went to Barnes and played with the guys, I thought, no, this is a great opportunity, I mustn't mess this up. But I kind of admit also that, you know, I was fairly desperate. I would have got in any camp that was going somewhere, because I wanted to go somewhere. And I wasn't going anywhere after Tomorrow. It stagnated a bit with this group Vedas, and, you know, unfortunate things happened. Labels closed and tours didn't come about. You know, we weren't visible. There was no work going on. We weren't working. But Yes, we're working, and I love that ethic of the discipline and the work. So Yes carried that right through the 70s with so much determination, you know, to keep, you know, after, I mean, if it wasn't enough that we got as far as Close to the Edge with big pieces, and then, you know, we did Tales, which was just monumentally scaled. But then Relaya showed that what we'd started was no mere, you know, slim pickings. We were like, this was one of our dedications, you know, was this things like Gates of Delirium. So and then with Awaken, we kept doing, and then Machine Messiah. So in a way, even though members changed, people came in, and Rick left endless times and came back endless times, but in a way, what evolved was a core idea that would go anyway, you know, irrespective of what events happened and what people would leave, who would leave. But I must say, when I think about how we got to that very end period, you know, Chris Allen and I did form an unspoken alliance, you know, because we so got drama going, you know, before we met Jeff and Trevor, which was fortunate we met them, because we could only get so far with the concept. But that was to be a strength that we had, you know. We did it the same at Relaya when Patrick joined, you know. It was like reinventing the group again. And then, of course, you know, when Rick joined for Going for the One, it was once again reinvented. But at the core of it was a perpetual thing that Chris Allen and I could do, which was hold that together. And create very guitaristic moments, partly due, you know, John and I writing together. Obviously, the keyboards were always seen as the icing, you know. I mean, a really good icing. Yeah. But it wasn't often. It was sometimes, but it wasn't consistently keyboard-based music. You know, a lot of it was guitar-based music, which you know, only now when I look back, I realise just how much freedom I have. I think, for me, my problem with Tomato isn't so much what we attempted to do, but what the result was overly busy, you know. And for me, I usually edit my guitar, you know. In other words, I play a whole load of stuff, and then I kind of say, well, look, I can see something here. I can see a bit of a clash, you know. I can see this is too much, guys. I want to take this out. And that would not only come maybe from them, but also from me. But somehow on Tomato, we got to the end, and there had been so little care taken on how something's effective when it hasn't been there for a little bit. It's not always effective if it's there all the time, you know? So much like the Light and Shade Yes I Like to Create in the 70s was very much about people stepping back, not playing all the time. When you think about, you know, Leaves of Green and you know, Wondrous Stories, Your Move, it wasn't about a band who everybody was trying to find a part all the time. Sometimes we didn't need parts. We just had a great structure, we'll let that flow, you know, and then an idea will come and we'll put something in there, but we didn't clog it. But, you know, my disappointment with, I'd almost like to remix Tomato to try and get it to be more like a record that, I mean, maybe I should do this with Stephen Wilson, is like, it needs some TLC, you know, it needs some sorting out, because it's not, but there again, saying that, I could do the same with Union. You know, I think I'd see an album called ABWH2. You know, we had ABWH1, but really Union, the parts that I was part of, was very much a second album for ABW. It's not Yes. It wasn't designed for Yes. It was designed for ABWH to perpetuate itself into the next era, you know, and be independent from the other guys, you know, in Yes. So that seems so brave, and I think that's a great word, actually, because when you look at the 70s, Yes was so brave. We you know, against all odds, we did things that people said, surely you're not going to do that, you know, like four sides of